Hello guys, in our last video we talked about how to execute Java program. So we wrote a simple program and then we compiled it and then we ran it using Java executable, right? And we understand how what are the steps involved, and we have also seen .class file, how it's getting generated, and then how we are using that .class file to run a program, right? So in this episode, we'll talk about why Java is called platform independent language. And first of all, what does it mean by platform independent, right? So here, the platform is referring to kind of operating system, right? So you would have seen so many operating systems so far, right? The most popular ones are Mac OS, Windows operating system, and then you would have seen Linux or Unix, right? Um, so we have other operating systems as well, but these are kind of popular platforms that we usually see in our day-to-day life, right? So platform independent. For example, see in the diagram you see you have this orange one is, you can say, that is a Linux or Unix, Mac OS, and then Windows, right? Um, when you write a Java program, right, you write it once. So you write in a Java language, right? So for example here, hello world.java, it is written in Java, and then you are compiling that into .class file, which is using Java compiler, right? So the same class file can be executed on all of these platforms. So you write once and then you can run it anywhere. That is a popular phrase when the Java language was invented. Until then, like, we were having programming languages like C and C++, which are platform dependent. What that means is your code will change, your code differs according to the operating system that you're writing for, right? But with Java, it's a game changer, right? You don't have to write each version corresponding to respective operating system. So here, like with that paradigm, right, here you write it once and execute it on any platform without changing the code, right? So that's what it is, right? It is basically platform independent. That means it's not depending on any platform here, right? That's why Java is called platform independent. But what is it making that language platform independent? It is JDK, which has this JVM in it, right? JVM is the one which is making Java platform independent. Why? Because so let's say you have these three machines with a different OS, different operating system, and then let's say these are empty machines. It doesn't have any software yet, right? So what would you do to run a program on these machines? First, you would install Java, right? So when you're installing Java, or I mean, in this case it's JDK, right? JDK comprises of all development kit and also corresponding runtime, JVM, all that, right? So you have to install JDK. So what you do is, when you're installing JDK, you install specific version of JDK that supports that OS. So for example, this orange one, let's say this is Linux OS, right? When you're looking for to download JDK, you download JDK Linux version. That means the JDK which is written for Linux, right? So obviously that has its own JVM. which is written for Linux, right? So what that JVM does, so in this case, this orange JVM, this is specific to Linux OS. That's why when you um, give this program, the .class file, to this JVM can understand the Java language, which is in a plain English. I mean, after you compiled the .class, well, here in this case it is bytecode, right? This JVM, Linux-based JVM, can understand bytecode, and it knows how to translate that bytecode into Linux understandable language. That's why it is able to, the same code is able to be executed on Linux OS. Same thing goes for Mac OS as well. So in the Mac OS, when you are installing JDK, you install Mac version of JDK. So what that means, this JVM knows how to read the bytecode and translate that to Mac OS understandable way. That's why it is able to run on Mac OS. Same thing goes for Windows. So here basically the corresponding JVM is making the Java as a platform independent, right? So if I let me show you, if I want to download Oracle JDK, so here you see, for example, if you go to JDK 17 or JDK 21, right? You see you have JDK for every OS. For example, in our example, I have a Linux machine. I want to run a Java program in Linux machine. What I do, I go to Linux version and then download that particular JDK, which is written for Linux. And if you go to Mac OS, you have Mac OS version, and Solaris is another OS, and Windows is another OS. So it is .exe, right? So that is the concept. That's what it made JDK. The Java is platform independent. So that was a huge game changer at the time, like back in the day, coming from C++, C++ towards Java. That was a huge win for Java, right? You write once, run anywhere is the popular phrase for Java. So yeah, that's all. I just wanted to tell you like what Java, because you keep hearing this Java is a platform independent, so you need to understand that concept. So in the next episode, let's catch up with another beautiful concept of Java in this basic series. Okay, see you there. Bye.